Okay, so just to touch on a couple of things that they both really addressed, so that they said that it will not have an effect on the poor and it's not unfair to the poor. However, how can you say that it's not biased on an income when there is the statistic that these people earning $30,000 pay 39% of state and city taxes on cigarettes? So like this does show that the poor do use these more than others. They may have a vice, like the poor, if you're wealthier, you're not going to necessarily have as difficult as a life. And I know that's kind of a stereotype, but the poor people do deal with a lot of stress, and alcohol and tobacco, candy and soda, these are all used to relieve these kinds of stress. And so taxes on sins do affect certain people directly, as stated by Richard Williams and Caitlin Christ in the Mercus. Taxes on beer and cigarettes affect consumers with the fewest substitutions available to them, namely those who with lower incomes more than those who buy wine or an expensive pint. So although they're buying less expensive goods, they're still being taxed very high, and it's difficult for them to pay these. And you may say an extra 2 cents, that's what he said in the soda debate. However, why pay 2 cents when you can not pay 2 cents? This is causing the black market. The fact that people don't want to pay this extra cost in these hard times, people are more resilient to paying the taxes when you could just get it from a different state that doesn't necessarily have as high of a sin tax. And people also don't have $5 to spend on a pack of cigarettes a day. This leads to the black market. We're not necessarily saying that people are not going to pay this. We're saying we're saying that people are not going to pay this. We're saying that people are going to find it elsewhere. And then also in the second negative, he said the revenues revenue doesn't, sin taxes are in place because of the health harms. So they said that the sin taxes encourage healthier and safer lifestyles. However, sin taxes encourage people to spend their money elsewhere, which is what I already addressed. This means by instituting sin taxes, the government is effectively preventing people from spending their own money on things like safer cars, preventive medical checkups, baby gates, smoke detectors. If evidence shows that for every 15 million taken out of the hands of consumers, there is one statistical death. And then they're forced into other vices. So maybe instead of doing something that's taxed, they're going to turn to other things, such as people from ages 18 to 24 are more responsive to the tax changes than older smokers. And then for young smokers, to switch to cigarettes with higher tar and nicotine is a big part of what they will eventually do. And then the sin taxes also they're still likely to make an illegal purchase. In Washington state, actually 1/3 of the cigarettes are smuggled in, and that is their revenue. They're losing hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. And then something else that I think is very important that wasn't necessarily addressed as much is our point about, the current sin tax system does not have an effect on unhealthy behaviors. So another quote to support that: for young smokers, the switch to cigarettes is difficult. And I feel like they're not seeing necessarily the effects on people that do have an addiction and the people that are too poor to afford it.